Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood, Slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. Payback is a dog.
Shalom. Yahweh Shemal Alatam Hidatish by Shem Yahushai. Okay, let's clap it up. We're gonna get started. This is Akashka, Officer 50 from the Bahamas. And we're getting ready to start our class this evening. Yahweh Bayashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatam to all the brothers. Yahweh Shema Alatam Bayashem Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. We're going to talk this evening about, we can get started, and we talk about who Christ died for. Until our captain gets in here. We invited a few people, maybe they'll show up. We see how that works out. Any questions? Shalom, sister. Your mic is muted. You there? Okay, let's get it going. Who did Christ die for? You know, we think about Christ dying for the whole world. We think about, I think one of our misconceptions is that when Christ was on the earth and prior to, we seem to think that there's only a limited amount of nations around. We didn't realize that there were so many other nations on the planet at that time. So it seems like whenever we think about who Christ died for and whatever words have been spoken in the scripture, we seem to take it that it's really addressing everyone. But the truth is, if I'm speaking to you in your home with your family, and I say, okay, we'll all go fishing tomorrow, am I talking to somebody in the next house? No. Why don't we understand the simple thing is that when when these words have been spoken, they are being spoken to a particular set of people. So if they are being spoken to a particular set of people, then these are the people who, and then you have to find out who these people are, right? Who's being spoken to? Is it being spoken to the 18 and the 17 other nations on the planet at the time? No. So I don't think we get it. I think when whatever words in the Bible, we take it for everyone. But think about it. Everyone was never at that time when Jesus himself. He came not but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And so you'll get to that. But I just wanted to open up with that because it seems like we have the misconception that we seem to see the, the Israelites, we seem to see everybody else in us and we in everybody else. It seems like we can't identify ourselves other than by associating with someone else and being them or they being us. We don't seem to have a clear understanding of our own identity and our own nationality. I don't think we do because we seem to grasp everybody else's or we allow them to grasp ours. We don't seem to see ourselves as an individual nation. We don't see that. When you see, when in the scriptures, when if you talk about Moses was talking to the Hebrew or the Israelites. It's the same thing. We talk about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob down that line. And even if you think about that line itself, you'll know, for you Bible scholars out there, you'll know even down that line have other siblings involved. So Abraham didn't only have Isaac, right? And Jacob didn't only have Jacob 12 sons would be the 12 tribes of Israel. But Abraham didn't only, let me rephrase that. Abraham didn't only have Isaac, right? So it's like that. So all the other nations is a shoot off from the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the direct descendants which come now into Israel. So who did Christ die for? Certainly he died for, he said who he died for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And who is the house of Israel? Remember now, Jacob's name was changed to Israel when he wrestled with the angel. And so his sons became now the 12 tribes of Israel, which was scattered. It was scattered from the Assyrian. The Assyrians were the first ones that scattered the 10.5 tribes because they fell first. Remember, well, for you Bible scholars out there, the 10 tribes, and this is just a little aside, the 10 tribes disobeyed the Lord first, and they actually were taken into captivity, and then the 2.5 tribes were done later. And so this is why they were scattered. We were scattered throughout the whole face of the earth. And again, that was no surprise because we read it in Deuteronomy chapter 28. And if you don't understand that, please read Deuteronomy chapter 28. But tonight, we're going to be talking about who did Christ die for. Okay, so we in the book of Matthew, and we're going to start at the 21st verse. And we would have gone over this before. I'm not in much detail, but we know Captain is going to be coming on. He's going to be expanding on a portion on something similar to what we're into. So it'll tie right into what we're going on with right now. Okay, so Matthew chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus. We say, as we learn as ISUPK, we now are learning the Hebrew. So it's Yahushai. So, and he shall save his people from their sins. So we see, we understand that. If you just, we are the ISUPK. All right. And in that, we're universal. And the most important thing in that is practical. Okay. A lot of people don't seem like this Bible is very, very practical. So when you read it, it's very practical. Okay. So as you read it, he said, this is Christ. This is the word from Matthew. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushai, Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sin. we, I mean, we didn't go into what sin is tonight, but we may actually touch on the transgression of God's law. Shalom, sister. We Our topic tonight is who did Christ die for? And you have any questions on that topic at this point? Because when Captain come in, he'll be taking over. Any questions? We Okay. Let me continue on. I'm in the book of Matthew. I know we would have gone over this before at some point. Who Christ died for, and still in the book of Matthew. We're gonna go to Matthew. We're gonna go to the 10th chapter and the 5th verse. So Matthew chapter 10, and we're gonna be reading the 5th and the 5th, 6th, and 7th verses. So Matthew chapter 10, verse number 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. So we're talking about who Christ died for. Now, this what I'm reading right now is Christ sending out the disciples. It's in red, and then I'll read it again. These 12 Jesus sent, and like I say in the Hebrew, it's Yahushai, and commanded them, saying, so this Jesus now, this is a quote coming up. Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and preach as you go, preaching, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about who the lost sheep of Israel are. And as I said in my opening, the 12 tribes are the 12 tribes of Israel. And there was a separation between the 12 tribes. And after the death of Solomon and Solomon's son, Solomon's son, Jehoiakim, Rehoboam, and Jeroboam, it's those two had to break a separation in the kingdom. And and this is how we end up with two different sets of tribes, two groups of Israel. So that's how, and so at this time when Jesus is now sending his disciples out, he's actually just telling them, now go and find these same people, because the 12 tribes is who I come here to reach out to. And that's why he's saying, and I'll read it again. Matthew chapter 10, verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, or into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Just give me 1 minute.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so Jesus say, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans. Why is he saying this? He is saying this, he's sending them out. He's telling them, this is what he's saying. Go, so he say, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's important to remember. The lost sheep of the house of Israel, the house of Israel is all the descendants of from Jacob, the 12 tribes, which Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So what Jesus is saying, go and find them. Go and find those people. Go and find those are the lost sheep. So whenever the lost sheep is mentioned, that is who it is referring to, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They were scattered. When we read Deuteronomy, it tells us that they were scattered to the ends of the earth. And so Jesus initially was telling them, okay, but you need to find these ones that are right here nearby. Now, granted, though, the other 10.5 tribes in Jesus' time, they wasn't right around where Jesus was. So they was even further away. But nevertheless, he came to his own, and he sent his disciples out to reach out to them. And so that's what we're looking at. If y'all have any questions, y'all could just say Salakia, sir, and ask your question. Okay, so move down to our next scripture. Again, still in Matthew. Matthew chapter 15 and verse 24. Matthew 15 and verse 24. Now this is another important scripture right here. And if we just look at the scriptures as they are, excuse me, without the influence, and this is why when you come to the truth, please, I'm going to tell you that as I was told, you need to forget everything that you were taught and receive this new knowledge. So once you forget everything that you were taught, you'll be now open, because you can't put new wine into old skins or into old wine skins. So now you need new wine. So that means you got to get rid of all of the old stuff that y'all were taught in the past and receive this new truth. Now, so this is Jesus again. Matthew chapter 15 verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, of course, I'm just being concise on these particular scriptures, because I know we would have touched on these before, and if you all have any questions, we could actually expound on them. So, but Jesus said, I am not sent. So that means Jesus was sent. That's one of the things, right? He was sent, but I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know, in ISUBK, we see, as I say, we are very practical. We see Jesus as our king, but we do not see Jesus to be equal with God. Okay, we see Jesus as the Son, not God. We see him as the Son. So the Father would have sent him, Yahweh would have sent him, and then Yahweh is the one who have all the powers, and Jesus is given the powers by Yahweh. So this is why he say, I am not sent. So I mean, the Father sent him. He didn't send himself, he was sent. So he was not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And I know Christians don't get that and don't understand it. But he was not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Krishna, good evening.
Shalom.
I have to apologize. I was on the highway. I had to pull off on the side of the highway. Okay, so you mightn't see my quite clear right now, but I can hear you quite clear. I'm on the highway right now because I was away from home.
Shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatan. You're good. If you just keep your video open or keep your audio, that's fine. You too, Rob. Okay, so do you have any questions?
Okay.
Just Salakia.
All right.
Yep,
Shalom.
Okay, with that, we'll turn the class over to Captain Nayatak, Captain of 13,000. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatan.
Yahweh Hashem Shekatham, Yahweh Hashem Al Tabashim. Ashai. How y'all doing?
Tawab, sir.
All right.
So,
So, I think, young man, Bryce, you see, you had a question,
yes,
right?
sir. I was we talking about Galatians chapter 2. I'd like
Mm-hmm.
to have a breakdown of chapter 2.
The
Let me,
entire. Mhm.
yes,
Which part? Which part in chapter 2? The entire.
the,
Entire.
the entire thing, because it's
Mhm.
um I heard somebody talking. I mean, talking about it, but then again, I didn't feel comfortable with what they were saying about it. I mean,
What
breaking it down.
what were they saying
To me,
about it?
right now, okay, give me. I'm not home right now in my house. I have
Mhm.
my notes, but give me me. On the side of the road right now, coming home, but I had to stop.
Okay.
Give me a chance. Give me look at chance to look at the the the, the copy what I do on my phone. Then I get back to you
Mhm.
on that.
Okay. So I'm gonna wait to get that right. Okay. So
I made a
the top.
copy of what I need. What
Okay.
give me a sec.
So when you're ready, yeah, when you're ready, just let me know, right? So I think John 3:16, right? This is one of them topics that Christians, when you ask them who Christ died for, this is where they run to, right? Is the first once you start to pound them, and they have no response. The first thing that come out, the trump card is John 3:16. So let's read John 3:16. Let's get John 3:16.
Cancer. This is the book of John, chapter 3 and verse 6 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
For God so loved the world that
Mm-hmm.
he gave his only begotten Son,
Mm-hmm.
that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have
Right.
everlasting
So
life.
this is no different than you having two roommates, right? And one of your roommates decide to open a letter that is for you, that is from your grandfather, from somebody who left an inheritance for you, and they open it and they see your father said what your grandfather said, you have I'm leaving this for you, this amount of money or estate for you. Now your roommate open it and he reads it and sees that, oh, Oscar, we gonna be rich. Grandfather just left an estate for us. This, that, the other. When that ain't the case, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is this, right? The Bible was made for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? So when you read the Bible, right, depending on the context, you are going to have to do what? You are going to have to read and understand what? That there's one flow in this Bible, one flow. And that flow is always to Israel. Always. Which who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, question, Christ. Who was Christ speaking to at this time? So let's get some context.
Cancer.
Who was Christ speaking to at this time? Who was he having this conversation with?
Nicodemus.
Yes.
Yes, very good. Nicodemus. Who's Nicodemus? Was Nicodemus a heathen? Meaning, was he Caucasian? Was he African? Who was Nicodemus?
Exactly, sir.
Uh-huh.
If I may. John 3 and 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews.
Right. So he was a what? Nicodemus was a what? He was a Jew.
Jew.
So these are two black men having a what?
Conversation.
A conversation. Right? And it's understood between these two black men that what? That the Jews, one, are black. You understand? And that the Bible is for who? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the Israelites.
Kind of
Right? So these two black men having a conversation. So now read John 3:16 again.
Kind, sir. The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
Now, who's saying this? Who's speaking here?
This is in red, sir. This is Yahweh Shai.
Yes, this is Christ speaking here.
Christ speaking.
He's saying, for God so loved the world. Right? But what world did the Lord love? Right? And does world mean earth? Give me Psalms 90 and 2. Right? Give me Psalms 90 and 2.
Kind.
All right.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 90 and verse 2. Before the mountains were brought forth, or even thou hadst formed the earth and the world.
That's formed what?
The earth and the world.
So why is it saying earth and world? What is that trying to get us to understand? When it says earth and world, what is that trying to get us to understand?
That they're not the same in context.
Yes, that these are two, it's different. Completely different things you're talking about. Right? Two completely different things. Right? Now read on.
The Psalms.
Yeah. Go back to Psalms.
Kind. Even thou hast formed the earth and the worlds, even from everlasting to everlasting. Thou art God.
So he formed the earth and the what?
And the world.
And the world. So now, let's go to Hebrews, I believe, 11 and 3. Let's go to Hebrews 11 and 3.
Cancer. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 3. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of God.
That the what?
That the worlds were formed by the word of God.
Spell that for me. Spell the world.
WORLDS.
And in English, when you put an S onto a word, it says what?
It's plural. That means it's more than one.
Yes. It's more than one. But Christ is saying what? For God so what?
Love the world.
No, give me second. Hold where you're at, right? Give me 2 John, I think 2 and 15. Right?
Cancer. 2 John. So like I said, we only have chapter 1 here.
Give me 1 John 2 and 15.
1 John. Cancer. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15.
Yes.
Love not the world.
Hold on now. Hold on. Hold on. It's saying what?
Love not the world.
Love not the world. But Christ just said to do what? Christ said what?
Christ said, "For God so loved the world."
No, read it one more time. Let the people who listening out there read John 3:16 again. And
John,
what we're gonna have to understand is this: when your pastor tell you that Christ died for everybody, God love everybody, you better make him show it and prove it. You understand? Make him show it. All right?
God.
All right?
This is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have
Right.
everlasting life.
Good night. So that means everybody now, right? We're gonna break it down. He just said what? Don't love what world. Read that one more time. 1 John.
Kind. 1 John
2 and
chapter
15.
2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
So now you're basically getting a meaning of what the world is, right? Now you're seeing that the world could mean what?
It can mean a group of people.
Con.
A group of people.
on the
Remember,
earth.
because okay, try and understand this, right? When it comes to English, right? You use a word in English, right? Depending on how you use it, depending on the context in which you use it, you now will have to apply the meaning or the definition to it,
Cancer.
right? Right?
Can.
Right? So now, what definition would you apply to the world? What definition can you apply to the world? Because we know according to the Bible, it ain't the earth. We know according to the Bible, there are worlds, right? What worlds are there? What worlds are there? So you have what? You have the sea world, right? And in the sea world, you have what? The fishes. Do you live in the sea world? No. Right? Then remember when Christopher Columbus came across here, what did he call it? He said what? We have found what?
The new world.
The new world. Yes. Right? Then you have a poor man's world. Right? Then you have what? A rich man's world. Right? So world is basically meaning what? You let me pull the definition up for you. All right. See worlds. Right? Can you see it?
So let me see. Let me. Okay.
Right.
Kind of.
So
The
read the
earth,
second one. The second one.
all the people, societies, and institutional on the earth.
You understand? Which means what? Society meaning what? Remember, you have the LGBTQ world, right? Which right? That's a separate world. In their world, they have definitions, they have meanings, they have slang that we don't know about because we are not in their world, right? It's the same thing when you come to the man in the Caribbean. You have the Caribbean people, their world different from what? From the world that blacks are living here in America. Two different worlds. You understand? Meaning what? Two different types of what? Society. You understand? Two different settings. Right? Now, where we at? So now
back at John 3:16.
So now give me I believe is Isaiah 45. Is it Isaiah 45? Oscar.
Isaiah 45. So that here.
Right?
17, so kind of one.
Yeah. So give me that. Oh, you know what? Give me John 12 and I think 25. Right? So now, what world is the Most High telling you not to love? What world? Right? These Christians, they live in a different world than us. You understand? Right? These Muslims in a different world than us. Totally different. Right?
Gotcha.
All right.
I have the scripture when you're ready.
Go ahead.
John chapter 12.
And 25, there are 25 there?
And verse 25. Answer. He that loveth his life shall lose it. And he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal.
Oh, what does that mean? So you're seeing that the world ain't speaking nothing about what's on this planet or what's on the earth. It's a different world. You understand? When somebody people who are not in the truth, what do we say? They are what? In the what?
In the world.
In the world. Because in here is a totally different atmosphere. We move different, we think different, we live differently. Right? It's a totally different world in here. Right? Now give me Isaiah, I think 45 and 17.
Answer. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 17. Thus, but Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
But who?
Israel. But Israel. Shall
you
be
sure
saved.
You ain't seen everybody?
La asa. But Israel.
What is it?
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord.
But Israel. How come your pastor and them don't come, you know what I mean? They don't show you these things. This Bible is exclusive to certain people called the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? And the Lord loves us. You just close your Bible just for 2 seconds. Ask yourself, right? Ask yourself this. Who's the fastest man on earth?
Bolt. Usain
Right?
Bolt.
Who's the most athletic people on earth?
The Negroes.
Right? Israel. Because,
yes,
you know what I mean? Israel. Because you have the Argentinians, the natives of Argentine. You have the Brazilians, the Asherites. You understand?
Well, a different sport.
Yes, they're totally dominating. You understand? You give black people a chance, they're going to dominate everything on this planet. Everything. You understand? even down to the music. You could be in Saudi Arabia and hearing rap music playing. You understand? Having rap concerts playing.
God.
You understand? Like the Bible says that what? Ye are the salt of the earth. Right? What does salt do? Go ask a heathen what salt do. They don't know because they don't use it. You understand? But we know what salt do. We use salt. We sprinkle a little salt in the food to give it what? A little taste.
God.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are that sprinkle on the earth. We that salt. We give flavor to this earth. You turn your cap backwards, guess what? Them heathens turning the cap backwards too.
God.
You understand?
Can.
Like we what you call what? Trendsetters. You understand? We them type of people. Right? Most of your sports, they go get what? Black athletes to do what?
God.
To promote the product.
God.
Because they know how we are. Right?
God, sir.
Where you at right now? No, go back to John
It's
3.
still some more in Isaiah 45 and 17.
Go ahead, bring it out. Come on.
Can. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded.
You shall
world.
what?
You shall
shall
not be ashamed.
Why
nor
is
confounded.
saying you should not be ashamed? Because right now you tell a black man he's an Israelite, he's going to tell you, no, I'm a Christian.
God.
You tell him he is an Israelite, no, I'm a Muslim. He's going to give you everything because he's ashamed of being an Israelite. Because being an Israelite means you have to be what? Separate from these other heathens.
God,
Now you can't go marry an African man or woman. You understand? Like you just can't love who you want to love and do whatever you want to do. Be whoever you want to be. No, not when you're an Israelite. Not when you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Nobody wants to be us. You want to know why sisters blonde the hair? Right? Why brothers and sisters bleach the skin? Right? Why we try to talk, proper, what they call it? On the island, you will call it the Queen's English?
Cancer.
Yeah. Right? You started talking that dialect. Your mom quick to tell you, your father quick to tell you, stop talking like that. Talk properly.
Yeah.
Right? Not saying, we have to, we in hell. So you got to switch up how you speak when you do go get a slavery. Why? Because the person, your own people who trying to hire, they want you to talk what? Queen's English.
So like you said, if I may.
Come on.
As we live in the islands, when people go to America, especially the younger children, they go to America and they come up with this American slang after 2 weeks. We have to tell them, speak Bahamian and stop trying to change your talk.
Yeah. You understand? Like that, we don't like being ourselves. We are ashamed of being who we are. You will see a Muslim put on a dress. A man, you see that lights, that gong, the lights, that looks like a dress. And they puts that on with pride. They don't put a bag over their face, nothing like that. They put that on just like that. And walk the street. And they're proud. You understand? But when it comes to us, and we have to be who we are, rock with shield, do whatever we have to, move how we have to move. We're ashamed of being Israelites. Ashamed of it. All right? And there's so many examples out there with men who came out, celebrities who came out and say that they were Israelites and had to retract their statements.
Can, sir. I've
Right?
seen them. Canon one can.
All right. Read on. Any more?
Can, sir.
Go
Nor
ahead.
confounded world without end.
World with what?
World without end.
World without end. Meaning what? What does it mean, world without end?
Meaning that
Mm-hmm.
once this world gets back in power,
Mm-hmm.
it should not be an end to that power.
Right? Still, right now, you could take it to right now. Any other nation go through 400 years of slavery, oh, their world would have come to an end.
Canon one can.
They could not handle that. You think them heathens could handle them times in the cane field that we forefathers had to go through? Some of our forefathers died in that cane field and all that. You understand? Some of foremothers died in them cane field. And when them cane factory, them rice field, used to work us still, you know what I mean, 9 to death. You understand? No
So that case,
other race could have go through what we went through. Come on.
if I may,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna speak about the Bahamas. It seems like
Mhm.
over the generations, we
Mhm.
have been removed from even the thought and the understanding of slavery. So we don't even appreciate our forefathers and foremothers dying in the field and being abused. We don't associate with that.
No,
We
and
associate more with our oppressors.
yes, and not just in the Bahamas. That is in America. That's in the Caribbean right now. It's okay. What is happening to us? It was planned. You understand? And it's planned through the school, like your system, right? What system you go by?
You go by the British school system, basically.
Yeah. Why we can't go by our own system? Why the Caribbean man and Caribbean woman can't sit down and come up with a system that what they want to educate the kids with? But now when you have these British systems, guess what? Then every generation or every year, that whole concept of slavery is going to start to be what? Lost. So now, if you had not come into the truth, then guess what? You would not have been teaching your kids about what? So you wouldn't try to even wake them up to the fact that we ain't supposed to forget about slavery. Because we'd have been too busy trying to do what? Survive. And if we ain't trying to survive, we're going to church to try and feel good about what's, you know what I mean, how we life turned out. How life turned out for us. You understand? So this is a plot. This is a plot to keep us in what? In a cycle. Cycle until that parent no longer teaches about slavery. You need to forget about that. You need to move. You need to go to these schools, excel, and stop worrying about you being black and you don't have a chance. You have a chance. You could go to America and live the American dream. And when you get to America, it's a nightmare for you. Right? You stay on the island, it seems as if, you know what I mean, the island tend to give you a kind of more relaxed, because you're not really around the oppressor to really see what he's doing. So you must see your brothers and sisters, and now you all see each other and try to, comfort each other in whatever you're going through. But that ain't life. You understand? Like, we shouldn't have to accept being what? At the bottom. We shouldn't have to accept it. Christianity teaches us to accept being at the bottom. Islam teaches us to accept being at the bottom. You understand? Because you telling me you're gonna be a Muslim, and them sheiks in Saudi Arabia, they're living good and well, and you selling what? You selling them little oil while they selling what? Black gold and your country rich,
Can.
and you're supposed to go take a journey to what? To Mecca,
The Mecca.
but you don't have money to do it. Come on. They're displaying us in this place.
Can.
Understand? So go back to John 3:16. Go back to John 3:16 now.
This
Right,
is the book of
young man Bryce, just let me know once you're ready, right?
Yeah, I listen here. No, we are talking about for God so loved the world. So God so loved the world. Well, to the vibe that we gather from each other, it does not really translate into that atmosphere that we share that love as we should. That's a serious vibe when we don't have that spirit of camaraderie of that brotherly love. That's
Yeah.
very important. That's where we can be more united when we show that. And let's say for instance, if we were to do business together, just because I'm not black, because I'm black, you don't go in business with me. But that's why we are black. We need to push each other to build our finance, to build our living, and things like that. We need to bond, to build one another, that we could share with other brothers and sisters out there. We need to do that as most as possible. When the Chinese and the Chinese come, they stay in one building. They live there, they eat there, and they don't go no place, but they just stay together. And if we could get together like that, not like that, but similar, but united, and that's all made by appreciating the little that we have, that we can make it. That's what I feel.
And you're right. You're right, brother. You know what I mean? You're right. I'll give you a hand for that. You're right. You understand? You're right with that for sure. Because, and who are you gonna blame for that though? Let me see. Who are you gonna blame for all of that? I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna blame for it.
The oppressor, we can real play the oppressor, right? But now we need to. I don't. It's kind of typical right now, but I think we need to put our resources together and make it happen. We got to stop.
Understand this, and this is how the Lord work, right? And you read the Bible and you see this is how the Lord work. The Lord will not have you put your resources together with another man who is doing what? Who ain't following what he tell you to do and expect it to work. You go put your resources in the LGBTQ community, right? Nobody following the Lord's statutes and commandments. It's going to fall. It's going to fall. And I blame the Christian church. The oppressor is number one, but the Christian church is to blame for the downfall of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, especially black people on the island. You take that Christian church out the island, and black people gonna find a way to come together. We're gonna find some way to come together, because ain't no mess gonna be pushing down and telling us that what? That we all one people, we all together, we this, we that. No. All that mess is from the Christian church that's been pushed on the island. And where they learn that Christianity from? The so-called oppressor. You understand? But what you're saying is right. We're going to have to come together in this hell. And the Lord going to make it put it to a point where he's going to force us to come together. He's going to force us to come together by making things harder and harder on us. And we're going to have to come together. We are very resourceful people. We're very resourceful. And all we need is each other. You understand? Now, Ashka, where you at right now?
back to John 3:16.
Go ahead.
Canon 1 can. This is the book of John, chapter 3, and verse 16. For
Mhm,
God so loved the world
mhm,
that he gave his only begotten Son,
mhm.
that whosoever believeth in him
No, that's the next part right there we have to get. It says what? Whosoever believeth in him.
believeth in him.
Right? So the whosoever sound like what? Everybody. And
Everybody.
this is what it fool us with. And that's a good point to bring up, young man Bryce, with the so-called Asians and them. Right? These Chinese and them will come into a community and they will stick together. You understand? They will open my shop. They will open my shop and they will stick together. Now, ask yourself this. Can you go open my shop in China or any Chinese community? No, they will not. They will not have. You cannot go into a Chinese community and open a soul food shop. You can make the best rice. Where's the island dish? Where's your island dish?
Peas and rice.
You can make the best peas and rice with stewed chicken, and them Chinese will kick you out of the community. And when I say kick you out of the community, meaning what? They will not buy from you. They will not support you. And before you know it, you'll have to close the shop down and leave. You understand? But they will bring all these nations into our community. And why? Because we don't have black leaderships to say what? Nah, we want a black store right in here. And if they have to come into our community and sell, that money is going to have to stay in here and circle around. They're going to have to be putting back into our community. Not take the money and then take it and send it all the way to China or to India or to all these other places. You understand? Because we're going to have to do it. That's why Commander Jerry Hanna is building a nation that's going to depend on each other. You understand? That's what's being built here. Now we're gonna have to we're gonna have to come in, and it's gonna be rough. Why? Because you're gonna have family members, you're gonna have friends, you're gonna have everybody else trying to tell you you're crazy, you're wrong. You with them people, you understand? But you're gonna have to stick in here and treat this like a what? This is a what? A family business you're building. You understand? This is a family business you're building. And it's going to be rough in the beginning. It's going to be rough. First few years of business be rough. But if you have what the market wants, brother, you just have to bide your time. Sis, you just have to bide your time and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. And we're going to have a community just for us. So no Chinese come in our community without coming to speak to one of us. You want to open a store? Okay, so what's your plan? Let me see a plan. This, that, the other. Now, if you ain't run the community, then guess what? And the government want to give them benefits to come and open the stores. Guess what? We don't buy. And guess what? They're going to have to leave. They will have to leave. They will have to sell and leave. Because nobody will buy. You understand? But we are going to have to have brothers and sisters that are like-minded. You understand? We're going to have to be like-minded so that when one person gave an order, when Commander Jerry Hanna gave an order, we are not buying from that store anymore. Guess what? Ain't nobody buying from that store anymore. We don't care if we have to walk 5 miles or 10 miles to the other store. We're not buying from that store anymore. You understand? But it's going to have to start small. You got to start here. Because brothers and sisters, because of Christianity, they don't understand the dire need of brotherhood, of sisterhood. They do not understand it. To them, brotherhood is you sharing your love with everybody, right? Think about it this way. If you have kids, right? Can you show kids who go to school with them the same love you show to your kids at home? You You can't have all
Yeah.
that is too much love to put out there. You understand? You gonna have to care for your son or your daughter at home, right? Now, does that make you a racist? Does that make you a familyist? No, it doesn't. It just means you love your family. You love this boy. You love this girl. You understand? But they try to turn our unity into racism because we sitting down,
Yeah.
and that's what you're gonna get when you start to pull away and start to stick to your own. The first thing they're gonna ask you racist? When you ain't stopped nobody from getting no job, you ain't stopped nobody from eating. You're not doing that. You see what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now? Are you deciding who eat? Are you deciding who eats? Are you deciding who where bombs gonna get dropped? No. So how the hell you could be racist? But these are trigger words that they use in black communities to make us like to jolt us into I can't be a racist. I can't be a because it has a negative connotation to it. But how was America built? You
And
understand?
blacks.
On racism. How was China? How was China built? On racism. That's how it was built. You understand? We're gonna have to start loving each other like Christ loved us. How much did Christ love us?
Enough to die for us.
Yes, and that's what you're gonna have to that's the mentality you're gonna have to have when you come and sit down and learn in these classes. You're gonna have that type of mentality that I'm here to give my life up for my brothers in this truth and in the world. Even though they don't understand, you understand your mission. You understand? Just like Christ understand his mission. Christ died for who? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, even though they didn't understand his mission. Right? He died for them so that they have a second shot at it, a second chance. Because if he didn't die to give us a second chance, every one of us right now would have to pay for it with blood, according to the Bible. The Bible says there's no remission of sins except by blood. We would have to pay for it. You understand? Right? So read that part with whosoever again.
So John chapter 3, verse 16 in the middle. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
So now let's get the whosoever. Let's go to Joel. You know what? Let's go to Acts 2:22 first to get our whosoever. Because remember, this here, you ever this here is the one shot your pastor gonna put in the gun, and after that, once you clean that, you dodge that shot, his clip is empty. But you have all the evidence in front of you in the Bible where you could just keep on hitting him. And this is how you know when you win it. When he gonna tell you, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. Anytime somebody hits you out in an argument, guess what? That's them throwing the towel in. There ain't no agreeing to disagreeing. In life, there's right and wrong. There's no in between. Christianity gives you that comfort of being in between. But according to the Bible, it's either you're right or you're wrong. Either you're warm, you're hot, or you're what? You're lukewarm. Right? Not lukewarm, or cold. Yes, if you're lukewarm, he spit you out. And he said, rather you be what? Cold. You understand? Right? We are Acts what?
Acts chapter 2, verse 22. Ye men of
Go ahead.
Israel, hear these
Uh-huh.
words.
No, no,
Jesus
hold
of
on,
Nazareth,
hold on. Acts, I think, is 21.
or Canon cancer. The book
Uh-huh.
of Acts, chapter 2, and verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall
That
call
what?
on the name,
That
whosoever
what?
shall call, whosoever.
Yeah, that you want to stress on that. Because the Christian gonna be like, what? You see? Whosoever again shall call on the name.
Exactly.
You understand?
Con.
So what he gonna say is, if a Chinese man get on his knees until it bleed, or an East Indian get on his knees, or whatever, any heathen gets on their knees until it bleed and plead unto the Lord gonna hear his prayer. It's whosoever, right? Read on.
Whosoever call on the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Shall be what?
Saved.
Save. You see? And your pastor gonna be like, you see, you need to be in church on Sunday. But hold on, pastor. Read on.
Ye men of Israel.
Ye men of who?
Ye men of Israel.
Ye men of Israel. Read on.
Hear these words.
Oh,
Jesus,
so these words were for who?
The
the
men of
men
Israel.
of Israel.
Come on, pastor. Where we at now? You understand? Now he's now guess what he gonna be doing? He gonna be trying to peek inside the book to see if it really there. Because guess what? He never read it.
Canon.
Because they ain't teach him that in theology school. Right? And now go to Joel.
Canon.
Go to Joel 2:32. Right? They didn't teach him that in theology school. Right? And what you'll get to understand is these pastors, they do not know the Bible. They read it, but they read it like a what? Like a storybook, like a bedtime story book. And then when they get up in church and they tell you what, you know what they are? They are like your pastor. He is what is it? Blessed with the gift of gab. They could talk. You understand? They are what you call inspirational speakers. They could talk, but that don't make you a man of God. You understand? Being an inspirational speaker doesn't make you a man of God. What makes you a man of God is you obeying what's in this Bible. That's what makes you a man of God. What makes you a man of God is you teaching what's actually in this Bible. Right? Read. Right? Remember Moses, right? What did Moses tell the Lord? When the Lord tell him, yo, I'm sending you to these people. What did Moses tell the Lord? You remember?
He told the Lord he couldn't speak well.
He told the Lord I can't speak. Who knows if he had a stammering situation, but he had some speech impediment that he had zero confidence about.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And what did the Lord tell him?
He tell him he'll send Aaron with him to speak.
Yes. You say, well, ain't no sweat. You can't talk. I'm going to send a man who could talk with you. You just tell him what to say. You understand? And you'll be a God to him like I'm a God to you. Right? Go tell him what to say. You understand? You don't have to be an inspirational speaker. You understand? You have men in here, you have brothers in here. You come in and they're going to what? They're going to do all the talking for you. If you can't talk, if you're low on confidence, like Moses, you understand? All right. Go on. Tell me where you at. Joel what?
Joel chapter 2 and verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For
You
in
see what I'm saying? So whosoever again, right?
cancer.
Right? Whosoever. Your pastor, he will, you see, whosoever. You need to be in church on Sunday. Hold up, pastor. You jump in the gun, read.
For in Mount Zion and in
For what?
Jerusalem.
For what?
For in Mount Zion.
So, and this is what you're going to have to understand. In Mount Zion, who lives in Mount Zion? Who was known to live in, yes. And where?
And in Jerusalem.
And who lives in Jerusalem?
The Israelites.
So who is the whosoever?
The Israelites.
Yes. Who lived in Mount Zion and Jerusalem. Right? It's no different. Like we right now in class, right? And we decide we want to go, we want to go hang out somewhere in Bahamas. We're going to go get something to eat. And I say, you know what? I rent an Airbnb, right? And I say, yo, Ashka, and sis and young man Bryce. Whoever, whichever you all, whoever want to come, hang out back at my spot. You all come and hang out back at my spot. But I say it in public, right? Am I talking to, how to say it? Tom, Dick, and Harry?
No.
No, I'm not.
Talking to.
Yes, the whosoever would be whosoever was with me, right? Well, the whosoever is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Your pastor and them, they're like scoundrels. They find a way to sneak these other nations in. They find a way to do it because they're not working for the Lord. Who they working for?
The money.
Yes. They're working for
Yeah,
themselves. Yes, they're working for themselves and they're working for that money. That's why you could go show up, preaching it. You think he didn't read all of this? He read it. But it's not going to profit him to tell the people the truth. You go stand up in church and tell a woman and tell your congregation, you woman, you are going to have to shut your mouth. You're going to have to not be in here when you're on your monthly. And what they're going to do? They're going to clear out. Half that church, all them women going to leave that church out. And he going to have to shut them doors within a few weeks. You understand? So it don't profit him to come in there and tell the people the truth. Church is designed for what? What is the church designed for?
The truth.
Preach
the gospel.
That's what it was supposed to do. But the church today is designed for your lust, to accommodate your lust. You understand? So now you go in there, you smoke cigarette, but guess what? Pastor tell you it's okay. It's all right. Just don't smoke on this. You're going to have to stop. This, that, the other. But there is no pressure. There is no help you're getting to curb your lust. None whatsoever. Christianity doesn't stop you from doing anything. That's why what? Go take a look at your choir and see if it ain't filled with LGBTQ. And don't talk about if the church has a woman on the pulpit preaching, because that's where it's going. You understand? So the church ain't designed to curb what you want to do. Your pastor is facilitating you. He's facilitating your sinning. He's facilitating it. You understand? You find me an evil pastor, and I'll find you a wicked congregation. You understand? Every last one of them. Why? because they know the pastor just the other night went and had adultery with this man and woman and sat down and knew it and still sat down. You understand? They know everything that's going on in that church ain't of God, but they will sit down in there because it makes them feel good about themselves. It's like putting yourself up is like having an extremely low standard.
Mhm.
You understand? So now you are gauging yourself on people who are sinners, who are, low and dirty. That's why when you come into the UPK, you're going to hear people who leave out saying they're too strict, they're too militant, they're too this. Why? Because the standards in here is very high. You cannot come in here and want to be a sinner. It is not going to work. You cannot. It's not going to work. You could pretend, you could hide it. That will just be for a time.
Mhm.
If you come in here, you better come in here to change, wanting to change. You understand? Right? Any more to that, Joel?
Canon 1 cancer.
Read.
As the Lord has said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call.
Good. You understand? Now, let's go back to John 3:16. And some scriptures, or majority of the scriptures, Christian go to that speaks about including everybody, right? So all you have to do is just read. Tell them read 2 verses up, like what we're going to do. So read 2 verses up in John. So meaning go to John 3 and 14. Right? So remember, the conversation is between who? Nicodemus and Christ. Right? And Nicodemus was a what? He was a Pharisee. Right? He was a leader in the Pharisees. And they were having a conversation. Right?
John
So-
chapter 3.
Yeah, verse 14. Yeah.
John chapter 3 and verse 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness.
No, hold on. Remember, there's a conversation they're having, right? So he's saying, as who?
And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness.
Your what logo do you see on the ambulance back on the island? What logo do you see?
The snake around the
It's a
pole.
logo.
You know where that come from, right? That's from the Bible. That's from Moses, right? That
Yes.
is standard across wherever you go. That is standard. You could come to America, you're going to see that same symbol. You understand? So he's saying, as Moses, what? And you all remember what was happening back in that time, and right? We were coming out of Egypt, right? And we were angering the Lord, and the Lord sent what? Serpents among us to bite us, and it was killing us, right? And Moses was doing what? Did what? He had fashioned on what? What had he did?
He fashioned a serpent on a pole, and whoever look up,
right, and he lifted it up, and whoever looked at it, if they they were bitten, they were what? They were healed. Yes, right. So now, is it written in red?
Canon 1 cancer.
So this is Christ bringing a story back from where? From Moses' time. Right? This is Christ giving you a story back from Moses' time. Right? Read start it over one more time.
John chapter 3, verse 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
Hold on. Now ask yourself this. Moses, when Moses lifted up that serpent in the wilderness, who did he lift it up to? Everybody?
The children of Israel when they exited out of Egypt.
Yeah, it wasn't everybody, right? It was the children of Israel. So he's saying what? Just like Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must what?
Even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
Even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
Lifted up.
So who Christ came and died for on that cross? He was up in the air. Who did he die for? The same people Moses was trying to save. Who were the what? The Israelites. Right? Read on.
Come on. John chapter 3, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, John chapter 3, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
That whosoever believeth in him shall not perish.
That
but
now
have-
you see, whosoever believeth in him, right? Meaning what? Of the Israelites. Not everybody. They're having a conversation about what? About the Israelites. He's not having a conversation about everybody. He brought Moses in for a reason. Because Moses did what? Took the children of Israel out of Egypt and was trying to save them. When the Lord did what? When the Lord was doing what? Killing them with what? With serpents.
With serpents.
Right? So now, guess what? Them same people, you think all of them survived the bite from them snake? No, because you're going to have some Negroes and they're saying, what? They ain't looking up.
Right.
They ain't believe. You understand? But there are some who what? They believe. And they did what? Looked up.
They looked up.
Yeah. And he says, so much the Son of Man be what?
He lifted up.
So much in 14, it says, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
Yes. Read on.
That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have eternal life.
I shall have what? Eternal life. Right? Meaning what? He was going to live on. Yeah, he was going to die, and he was going to come back and have that glorious life again. And then die and live on again. You understand? That everlasting life, just meaning you ain't going to die from cancer or AIDS or whatever disease that's out there. You understand? You're just going to get old and you were going to sleep with your fathers, your forefathers. You understand?
All
right? And that's John 3:16 in a nutshell for you. You understand? Which lets you know what? Your pastor, he ain't taking you all the way around here like that and trying to explain the Bible to you. He not. And if you sit down, I guarantee you, you sit down with a pastor and you start to pull these precepts, he going to want to know where you're learning from. 2, he going to tell you at the end of this, we're going to have to agree to disagree. But you're going to believe what you're going to believe, and I'm going to believe what I'm going to believe. And you're going to know that you had that pastor head on a plate. You understand? You're going to know that. Right? Not literal YouTube. All right? You're going to know you understand? You just destroyed a pastor who called himself a man of the what? The cloth. Right? Good?
So like is
right. Come on.
I had a conversation with a long-time Christian friend of mine. And as we got down to the end of our conversation, he said to me, man, I'm picking up my marbles. And he didn't say anything else, Captain.
Yeah. Because once you start to, actually go into the Bible, black people who've been going to church, they're going to see that they was not reading the Bible in church. That pastor was just giving them a speech. You understand? They were just getting a speech. They wasn't getting, you weren't being sat down in class and the Bible being open, and you actually reading out the Bible and things being explained, and you're going to different, you know what I mean, different parts where you're pulling evidence, you're pulling, you know what I mean, as the Bible say, precept upon precept, a little here, a little there. You understand? Like, they're not doing that in the church. They're not. But I bet you they know all them songs about loving Jesus. You know what I mean? They know all them songs about loving Jesus. But ask them about eating pork. They don't. You know what I mean? As far as they know, they could eat anything. Right? Anything once they pray over it. Well,
God.
well, and then next thing what you could ask them is what? A human, do humans have flesh? Can you eat a human? What are they gonna say? Oh, you silly.
No.
Yeah, you silly. No. Well, then who decides what you eat? Oh, you decide in your own diet. Not the Lord, right? Right, which is silly. You know what I mean? I know we over the time, but what's his name? Young man Bryce. You still want to the Galatians? Do you know specifically where in Galatians you want?
Look at the 16 the 16 ways.
Which chapter?
16
Chapter 2.
What do they say about what do they say? Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, look at Galatians chapter 2 and look at verse 5.
Verse 5.
Let me see.
Okay.
Yes. That the man ask to read that for me, please.
Verse 5, right?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Galatians.
Start at 1. Right?
Start
I'm gonna
at
get to
1.
5.
Galatians chapter 2 and verse 1. Then 14 years after I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also.
So who is this talking here? This is who? This is Paul, right?
Cancer.
Right? And Paul is saying he took who? He took with him Barnabas and who? Titus.
And Titus.
Right? Read on.
Verse number 2. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles.
Why is he saying amongst the Gentiles? Who are the Gentiles?
In this context, he is talking about the Israelites who were not associated or in Jerusalem, who has been basically almost like banished, kind of.
Yes, right? Because remember, before, right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Young man, you was going to say something?
No, you said they were banished.
Well,
hold on, Ashkasha. Meaning this. If you were not born in Jerusalem, right? More than likely, you were not circumcised on the 8th day, right? More than likely. And if you were not circumcised on the 8th day, right? You were cast off. You were living like a Gentile. You understand? If you didn't come to the Passover, if you missed the Passover, you were not looked at as being one of us, an Israelite. You were cast off. That's why Paul said what? What did Paul say? Go to where Paul said, I am the apostle of the Gentile. Right? I think that's Revelation, I think either 2 and 11 or 11 and 2. Go to Revelation 11 and 2.
Kind of like cancer.
No, did I say Revelation?
Kind.
No, it's Romans 11 and 2.
Can't, sir.
Right?
Romans chapter 11, verse 2.
God
God
start at 1.
started 1, sir.
Yes.
Can't one can't. Romans chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, had God cast away his people?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid. For
Mhm.
I also am an Israelite of the
Mhm.
seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Right. So he giving you his what? What to call this? He's giving what? He's giving you his
His
registry.
his registry.
He-
That's it.
he's giving you his line. He was from the tribe of Benjamin. You understand? He would have been from the Caribbean. Right? That's Paul. Right? Read on.
Verse number 2. God has not cast away his people which he foreknew. Won't ye not what the scriptures said to Elias?
Mm-hmm.
How he that maketh intercession to God against Israel, saying, verse number 3, Lord,
Mm-hmm.
they have killed thy prophets and begged down thine altar and dragged down thy altar.
No, okay, hold on.
And dig, Salaki, sir, and dig
All right.
down thine altar.
Mm-hmm. Give me read it one more time.
From 1,
Yeah.
Can. Romans chapter 11, verse 1. I say then, had God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe
Mm-hmm.
of Benjamin.
Right. Hold on, let me get it fair, right? All right. Go to Revelation 11 and 11 now. Not Revelation, Romans 11. Skip down to verse 11.
Cancer. I say, verse 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Right. Have they stumbled that they should what?
Fall.
Fall. Right. Meaning what? That you fall, meaning what? You ain't have a chance. Right? It's like you running a race and you stumble and fall. Guess what? You're gonna come last.
Mm-hmm.
And you will get no prize. All right, read on.
God forbid.
God what?
God forbid.
Meaning la'ah. Read on.
But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles.
Salvation has come unto who?
The Gentiles.
Now, who is salvation for?
The lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Yes. Remember, the Bible has one flow. Because now, if you're going to put in that salvation is for the Gentiles, and those Gentiles are the Caucasians and the African, then guess what? Then John 3:16 is contradicting itself. And the Bible don't contradict itself. You understand?
Can.
All right, read on.
For to provoke them to jealousy. Verse number 12. Not if the fall, now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
You understand? He asking him a question. How much more their what? Their fullness. Right? If this world was to what? For how much more is going to be what? For us. You understand? This world is rich, but guess who poor? Negroes, blacks, and the Caribbean. You understand? You go fish and pull out a big kingfish. You know what I mean? Nice fish. Guess what? When you sell the fish, by the time it gets to the restaurant, why is that restaurant owner making thousands of dollars and you making pittance selling that fish? You understand?
Can't say.
Why? Right? Read verse 12.
Can't,
No, skip to
can't,
verse 13.
can't. For I speak to you Gentiles, insomuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles.
So Paul is saying what? I am the apostle of who?
The
A
Gentiles.
Gentile.
Right. Not me, meaning who? The brothers and sisters who were not living in Jerusalem. Right?
Can't,
And when you read the New Testament, remember Paul and Peter, right? What was the issue between the two of them? What was the issue between the two of them?
Paul.
What Paul always had to remind Peter about?
it's like I said, I think Peter was ashamed at some point to be seen with the Gentiles. Was that the
Just
case?
Peter? The brothers in Jerusalem couldn't be seen with brothers outside of Jerusalem.
Can't.
So guess what? You are brother in Jerusalem. You sitting and speaking to a brother who was outside of Jerusalem, who was in Asia Minor or from Greece. You see a brother, you will get up and walk away. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. And Paul had to go to them to raise them up. You understand? That's why Peter had the vision. Remember that vision? Where it say anything that's unclean. Remember that vision? Which the pastor tried to tell you. He tried to use to say you could eat pork. He ain't trying to say you could eat vulture with it in it. He's saying you could just eat pork, crab, and shrimp and lobster. Why is just that alone? Why you can't eat a cat or a dog? That's me too, right?
Can't.
All right. But why is just cat? Why is just pork? Why? Because of who is your oppressor. He decides what you eat, and your pastor, he pushes that on you now. Right? Now go back to Galatians.
Can't.
Right? Read verse 2.
Galatians chapter 2 and verse 2. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that the gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privily to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run, or had run in vain.
You understand? I mean, so read on. So he basically telling you he talked to them what? Privately. With men who were known. You understand? Why he telling them he talked to them privately? Right? Because they didn't want to what? Be what? Seen.
To embarrass them.
Yes. Feel embarrassed. Right. And now, you know, like when you're hanging with somebody who want to hang, and then when they see somebody, they start to be what? Hostile with you. Like, boy, move from here now. This, that, the other. You understand? Because now you see his partner who ain't good with you. So now he trying to be what? He trying to show the partner that you all ain't on talking terms too. You understand? So he talk privately. All right, read on.
But verse 3. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised.
You understand? And that was one of them. Remember, I was talking about circumcision. More than likely, you living outside of Jerusalem, right? That rod wasn't, according to them, holy. It wasn't circumcised. It was uncircumcised. You understand? And they took, you know what I mean, serious back then. Read on.
Verse number 4. And that because of the false brethren unawares brought in, whom came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage.
All right. Read on.
To whom we gave place by subjection, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you.
You understand what he's saying?
Okay.
Read over one more time.
Verse number
Read verse
5.
4. 4.
4. Verse number 4. And that because of false brethren unawares brought in, whom came in privily to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus.
Right. That liberty meaning what? Meaning what? That you are Jew now. You understand? Not because of what? Remember, the circumcision was supposed to be circumcision of your what? When Christ came, circumcision of your what?
Of your heart.
Yes. But they didn't understand that. Because why? The same man who have his rod circumcised, he was what? He was having sex with some other man, woman. You understand? Which means what? He was a sinner. You understand? Right? And he is letting them know that what? In Christ, they have that liberty. But there are men who come in that was doing what? That was just came in to do what? To see what was going on. Was spying on them.
Yeah.
Right? Read.
That they might bring us into bondage.
Right. Into what?
Into bondage.
Into bondage. Read on.
Verse number 5. For whom we give place by subjection. No, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you.
This last part, it ain't coming back to me fully, right? So I'm gonna get that that last part of verse 4 and 5 for you all. Okay, I'm gonna try and get that tonight for you all. Okay.
All
right, but it was just verse 5 you wanted.
I think he dropped off, sir.
He dropped off. Ain't no sweat. I'm gonna either get it tonight or we're gonna just continue. We just do it. What you call it again? He's right here. No, yeah. We'll do it again. We'll start it on Sunday like that. From there.
Can't, sir.
All right.
He'll pop back. He's back anyway.
Yeah. So yo, man, right. I'm gonna get that last part for you, right? Okay. All right. So with that, I'm gonna pass the class
that's
over to priest. Huh?
That's great. I appreciate that. That's good.
Okay, Musa in Christ. I'll pass the class over to priest and officer Ashka.
Come on. Okay, security announcement. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, You can find it in Numbers 18, 21, and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. And it means tent in the Hebrew, and is pronounced Ma'ashirah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. The priest fund, free will offering for priests, is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, then give. The upcoming Holy Convocation is Purim, which will be February the 22nd and February the 23rd. And that's a Thursday and Friday. Remind Akim and Aquathium as brothers and sisters to check the social media such as ISUPK and Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for any events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he must start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, we'll give one courtesy salute to our teacher, Amijam, Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh by Hashem,
Barak.
Shai Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Ashai Barakathum.
and we'll give one salute to the sister. Amijam sister, please stand. So, Amita, Barak, Yahweh, Shemal, Adatam, Ayashimi Harashai.
Sorry.
Repeat after me. Yahweh, Shemal, Adatam,
Yahweh Shema Alatham
Ayashimi Harashai.
Shemi Yahushai.
All right.
Okay.
Good job. All right. You all make sure and tune in to Mahaman class now, right? And also too, I left the attendance there for you all to click on and sign in. Too, right?
Cancel.
All right. So make sure and click on it. All right. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.